Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gebo the Shaman, and today we are talking about what happens when Saturn is placed in your third house in your birth chart. Now, of course, Saturn could be in a neutral sign, Saturn could be excelled or debilitated. There's a lot of different things that could go on here, but we're just talking about generally what happens when Saturn is in the third house. So, before we get into all that good stuff, I'd just like to let you guys know that I am a Vedic astrologer. I do Vedic astrology readings professionally, so you can check those out at gebotheshaman.com. Link is down below in the description. And I also offer things like my Vedic astrology certification courses and astrology readings. I also do career readings and relationship readings, so if you want to check those out. I also do birth time rectification, so if you don't know your exact birth time, you can get a birth time rectification from me, and I will help you do that. Alright, so let's get into the video. Alright, so Saturn in third house. In order to understand what it means to have Saturn in the third house, we need to understand what Saturn means. And then we'll talk about the third house, put them together, Bob's your uncle, and we'll create our own analysis from that. So, alright, so let's get into it. So, what is Saturn? Saturn is time, Father Time. Saturn is karma. Saturn is respected, respect. It's duty, honor, things like that. It's discipline, organization, being organized, being disciplined, hard work. It's all the things in life that we don't want to do. It makes us work very hard, and it's one of those placements or it's one of those planets that's like not too fun to talk about. Saturn is always about our karma, our duties, our responsibilities. It's our discipline, organization, structure, the foundations. So, wherever he's placed, you're going to have to build a foundation and then build upon that. So, yeah, it's tough. So, Saturn is the boss, the authority, the judge, the lawyer. He is just and fair, and but he's also a strict disciplinarian too. So alright, so what is the third house? So the third house is our courage. The third house is our communication, our intellect, our knowledge. It is our siblings. Third house is siblings, especially younger siblings. So there's that. So third house is our communicative ability, our intellect, our ability to be a businessman or woman, the ability to, it represents like business and trade and things like that, and sales, definitely. Because how can you sell if you don't have a communicative ability? It just won't happen. So, So anyway, let's see. So yeah, that's pretty much the third house: the intellect, communicative ability, siblings, things like that. And it's also our courage. It's also like the house of early relationships, like, you know, where it's just a kind of a flirty kind of sexual thing. But yeah, so there's that. And all right, so what happens when we have Saturn in the third house? So Saturn slows things down. So Saturn, you know, it wants you to take your time and reflect and you know, really it gives you struggles. It gives you something to push for, to something to resist. So it's it's like that immovable object that you have to push like with 100% of your strength to move. It moves very slowly. So you know, Saturn is no fun, but but it is very important. It is there to teach you lessons. It is there to help you mature, because without Saturn we would not be mature. We would, you know, stay kids forever, and that might be what some people want, but I mean, you know, life is a learning process, a growing process, so there's that too. All right, so the thing about Saturn in the third house is that it does affect your communication. If you have Saturn in the third house, your communication will be slowed, your speech will be slowed. You might want to write a book, but you might just be very slow at it. It might take you might write the best novel in history, but it'll take you a very long time to do that. So there's that. But once you do, once it's perfect, once it's, you know, once Saturn gives you the okay, you release that book and you make a ton of money off it. So it's one of those things where it's a long-term effort, but it's like it's a long-term great financial reward too. So alrighty, so your communication ability will be slowed down. This might be because you're you're shy, or like you're introverted, maybe. So yeah, you could be very shy with this placement. You could be very introverted. You could be, you know, you could have a difficulty with your speech. Maybe you stutter or something like that. You know, so there's that. And also, Saturn, with this placement, he'll give you like a strained relationship with your siblings sometimes. And again, I'm generally talking about what Saturn does in this placement. I'm not talking about, you know, Saturn will give you different results based on if it's exalted, in a neutral sign, or debilitated. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, so it can give you kind of a strained relationship with your siblings. There might not be much communication there going on, so that's another thing. And then so there's a lot of, like, you know, if you don't you know, you'll have kind of trouble building like a business for yourself until the age of 35, things like that. So, you know, wherever Saturn is placed, it kind of gives you a challenge in that area until you're like 28. It can start to lift, but 35 is when it, really things start going better for you. And then 41 is, or I think it's 42, where it just completely lifts and gives you, it's like, gives you the rewards now. So that's it. So, if you do have trouble with your speech or trouble with your siblings, like, I just want you to know that it does get better. Like, a lot of people can get very depressed about their Saturn placements, but I can tell you, speaking for myself, it does get better. Now that I'm at the age of 35, I'm starting to see Saturn release his grip on my second house, my finances, and things like that. So, yeah, it's all about just putting in the work and doing the effort and, putting the effort and work. So yeah, it's a really difficult placement, or it can be. I'm just saying that. So the thing with Saturn in the third house is that it has these aspects to it. So it's aspecting the fifth house. I think. Let me see. So third, fourth, fifth. So fifth house would be the third aspect. So it's going to kind of slow down your fun. It's going to, your fun, like the things that give you joy might take a while to manifest. The other thing about this Saturn placement is that, it makes you a master communicator. So like, since you'll have difficulties with communication, you'll want to make sure that you're communicating as effectively as possible, and as it might make you like a presenter. So you might be presenting something. So for instance, you might do a seminar where it's like a long seminar, like a weekend seminar, and you can be speaking for hours a day, but you'll speak very slowly. So that's another thing about this placement. So yeah, it does make you like but the things. So here's another thing about the Saturn placement: the things that you say, you might not speak very much, but the things that you communicate, the things that you say, in their proper timing, have the most impact. So you might not say a whole lot, but what you do say, in the timing that you say it and in the way that you say it, will have a profound impact. So a lot of people, are like myself, love to hear themselves talk and love to rattle on about, whatever they're into or whatever is going on in their lives. But and it's kind of assumed that those people are like really good communicators because they talk a lot. Well, that's not the case because that's not always the case because, well, just because you talk a lot doesn't mean that you have wisdom, wise things to share. And so Saturn being the boss, it kind of gives you this wisdom in communication. It kind of gives you this this authority in communication. Saturn is the lawyer, so it is a very good communicator. It gets right down to the point. It's very, very good. So, there's that. So Saturn is aspecting the 5th house, the ninth house, and the 12th house. So it's aspecting its 3rd placement, the 3rd house from itself, the 7th house from itself, and the 10th house from itself. So the 5th house, so like I said, it's going to slow down your fun, and it's going to take a long time to get married. Like, you might not get married until the age of 35. You might have a lot of short-term flings or partners or whatever, but nothing that really sticks or lasts until you get that maturity. That age of 35 brings maturity, and that's when Saturn starts to release his grip on you. However, marriage can work earlier in life if it is an arranged marriage. And I know that's not very common in the West, but for my folks in India or other places, that could be good for you. Alright, so then the 7th aspect. So this is a really good placement because it's aspecting the 9th house. So the knowledge that you learn from your guru, the wisdom, the philosophical stuff, and stuff like that, that's all going to benefit you greatly. And Saturn basically uses that in, you can use that knowledge. It's Saturn. So this is the other thing about this placement. Saturn is in the house of the intellect. So, and it's aspecting the house of your guru, spirituality, wisdom, knowledge, things like that. And so it can be very good at communicating the knowledge and wisdom that it learned from its guru, from your guru. Alright, so you might not get that until you're later in life, like 35. But these things manifest, just trust that you'll meet your guru in the right timing and that everything will manifest itself in the proper timing. Because Saturn is great at time. Saturn is perfect timing, okay? He will give you things in the proper time. So this is great for, like I said, knowledge from the guru and stuff like that, and gains. So 3rd house is business, so that aspect, your guru, your teacher, will help you to become more successful in your business and things like that. And then the Saturn's aspecting the 12th house. So yeah. So that also has to do with spirituality. So I went really over today, guys. I didn't expect it to take this long. So anyway, guys, that does it for me for today. So I would appreciate it if you went to GeboTheShaman.com and just looked around for, look around at anything that you're interested in. It's all on sale and it's all great and cheap prices, so there's no reason that you can't get what you want from that site. So alright guys, so go to GeboTheShaman.com, and I also have my astrology certification course, so that basically takes you step A through step Z of how I do a Vedic astrology reading. And not only that, when you pass my certification exam, you will get your own website to become a Vedic astrologer. So it's a great deal. So so there's that, and you can start making clients, start making a side income from Vedic astrology. Alright, and alright, so this is so the other thing with the course is that it's very simple. I created a guide to walk you through all the steps and what you need to do for each step and things like that, and it's very easy. So alright guys, so there's that, and then we have the Vedic astrology readings. So I do a standard reading, and then I do readings based on focusing on your career and your relationships and things like that. So that's all very very helpful for people. I've had great reviews and comments on my work, so that all makes me feel good when I can help people. And then we have the birth time rectification service. So if you're not sure about what birth time you have or what time you were born, things like that, you can check out the birth time rectification service. And I also have distance energy healing. So a lot of people think that's just for physical illnesses and things like that. It's not. If you have emotional issues, psychological issues, mental issues, things like that, it can be very helpful for that. Because 99% of all diseases start with the emotions. In my opinion, I am not a doctor, as you can tell. So, then we have the Qigong courses. So Cosmic Qigong and Self-Transformation Challenge. Both of those courses are great at stimulating the heart center energy and releasing that so that you can release your emotions and heal yourself. Alright, so the Self-Transformation Challenge combines basically Kundalini Yoga, Qigong, and meditation, and the heart energy, the energy of the heart center. So that's an all-in-one program that you could do every day for 90 days if you like. And then the Cosmic Qigong is a great beginner's Qigong program, and it's great for opening up your meridians and things like that. So yeah, it's awesome. And then we have the career coaching, life coaching, all that good stuff. I was trying to figure out what I was going to talk about next. So yeah, a lot of people, aren't sure what the heck they're supposed to be doing in life. They're very confused. They're very just not sure of themselves. And so it's good to have a person that you can rely on to tell you kind of what to do in life. And I do this not because I know what's best for you, but I work with you to help you figure it out for yourself. And then I support you in actually taking steps to do that. So so that's a great course or session there. That's very helpful for people. And then we have the ritual magic courses, and I also have an emotional awareness course on my Patreon. So if you want to go to check out my Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/Gebo the Shaman. You can see it right there. And yeah, that link I believe is in the description as well. So go check out all my products, services, courses, everything that I have to offer at GeboTheShaman.com, Patreon.com/GeboTheShaman, and I believe Gumroad, GeboTheShaman.gumroad.com. Alright guys, I'm done. I'm exhausted, so peace. Take care guys.